Intern and J. Stevens, watching documentaries so you don't have to. 104.7 The Cave.
104.7 The Cave.
Know.
Dark Side of the Stream, episode 229. And Tyler, thank you so much for what you do every day. I mean that 100% from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think
you do give Tyler an excessive amount of crap.
Oh, I protect him more than anyone.
But you give him a crap for being late.
Well, I know because he is late, and I could fire him for that, but I don't. And so the exchange is that I just give him crap and don't fire him.
And he's cool with that.
But I also want to pat myself on the back for seeing that I would need someone around like him in the future when I hired him 2 years ago. And now
to put a smile on your face.
He's here, and he's doing exactly what I needed him to do.
When you're having a down day, put a smile on your face.
And man, I'm so thankful for you, Tyler. Anyway, now we can stop gushing over our Magic Tyler, and we can talk about the subject of this week's Dark Side of the Stream, which was Catching Fire, the Anita Pallenberg story. So before we get into this, you know that she never wanted to write an autobiography. Like, she was on record for years saying, like, making fun of, like, Posh Spice, saying, if this young thing can write an autobiography, why, you know, because Anita was she was down.
She was a boss.
She was literally
boss.
We have a phrase in bands that I have been in throughout my entire life, and I think it was in the Airwalks that we came up with this. We had a drummer whose girlfriend knew exactly how he set his drums up every single time. So when we would play shows, she would be in there setting up cymbal stands, setting up toms for him.
Yep.
When we were done, she'd run up there and help him tear it down. We called her the rock and roll girlfriend. She she wasn't the chick that you have to worry about taking a bunch of shots, getting too drunk, and you got to carry her out of the bar.
Right. Yep.
She was there helping every single
which is also
time.
on the flip side. Yeah, Jordan does that. She does help carry shit a lot, which is good. And she knows also where everything goes. And when the stage, if something's off, she'll go, "Hey, you want to fix that light over there?" She'll know. But the flip side, she also does at the party.
There's
a 50-50. There's a 50-50 shot.
My friends, consistency here is what we're after. She's not a complete rock and roll girlfriend yet. She's in training. And once she gets to the point where she understands, just like you do, you don't start pounding drinks down till you hit stage.
I know what it is.
You have your first one on stage.
There's a work effort.
You have a job to do. Sometimes things happen. We played a show the same night you did.
Yep.
I didn't start drinking until I think I had 2 on stage, our whole set.
Yeah. Good.
And because it's fun to drink and stuff, but I'm not trying. I got a job to do.
Yeah.
That's the job.
I got a lot of stuff to be
Anita
responsible
Pallenberg was the first rock and roll girlfriend, in my opinion. Maybe she didn't lift any gear.
And at the beginning, it almost seemed like, you're thinking, oh, okay, groupie girl. But no, she was the boss mama.
She was definitely an it girl before she became involved with bands. But I also thought it was funny that there were certain, like when you talk about George Harrison's girl, Patty, and how she was an it girl, and then she became involved with them, and then involved with Clapton.
Tales all this time.
There were a few of these girls that existed that became muses, if you will, for certain artists, and Anita definitely was a muse for the Rolling Stones. And it wasn't just Keith. When we come back, she actually was with someone before him. And we'll talk about that next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern, back in the studio. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 229, Catching Fire, the Anita Pallenberg story. And as I said in the last break, she never wanted to do an autobiography. The only reason this thing exists is because her grandchildren found a bunch of tapes that she had kind of started the process, and then at a certain point just said, nah, I don't want to do it, screw it. She seemed as stubborn as a person as Keith Richards, and how they were able to stay together for, 13-ish years, have 3 kids throughout massive amounts of addiction. I'll never tell you, but we'll get into that in a second. Before she was with Keith and married him, she was actually with Brian Jones up until his death. Now, let me ask you this, right? Let's say you're a guitar player.
Yes, sir.
Good-looking dude.
Sure.
Great guitar player.
Sure.
And he's an awesome guy. He's with a girl, and they're married. She's also extremely talented vocalist. I mean, God, Sarah can do. She can literally do Led Zeppelin. She'll blow your mind. Yeah. Let's say that he's coming home from a show, and again, this is all hypothetical, so don't freak out. Something happens. He's in a car crash and passes away. Right, and you're single. You gonna go out with her? No, would that not be weird?
I don't think it would be that weird.
To you? To me, it would be strange.
I could see that scenario taking place, and I wouldn't think it's weird. I don't think it's weird. No, you are asking the wrong guy, probably, Mike.
Dude.
Yeah,
I'm asking a guy who's dating someone that's younger than his old.
Yeah, Mike, think of my whole history. You're definitely asking the wrong guy on a morality question. You're thinking like bro code. You don't date somebody, but what if like?
It's not about bro code because it's not about.
But she was like almost like a sixth member of the band. She was like a homie.
She was their
you know?
muse, and she was around a lot. But again, like they just
liked hanging out with her, you know, in general.
Like literally within the same year they're together. Now let's say, let me change it a little bit. That happens, and then down the road, 5 years later, you guys run into each other, and you're like, oh my God, it's been so long. How are you doing? Well, you know, obviously that happened, and then I did this and this. I could see that making sense because you have gone and you lived your life, and now, but like literally, like
the way I
within a couple days, you're going out to dinner and hanging out. That's crazy.
Is they were a group of friends. She was dating him. Things were going south already. She already started kind of hanging out with him. He was obviously the more stable, which is crazy to say that Keith Richards is the stable one.
He's still alive.
But, right, yeah. And probably like, hey, they were all friends. Yeah, I know. He's screwing up, man. Yeah, he's screwing up. Like, what do we do? I don't know. And then you just start kind of hanging out more and more. And it's like, wow, I really kind of think this guy's awesome, and this guy's fading out. And then when he died, it just gives an easy segue to that.
It'd have been.
I feel the segue would have happened if Brian would have still been alive, because I think they would have been like, he's out of the band, he's on drugs, he's out of it.
Would have been.
We took his girlfriend off. Yeah, they would have ran off together anyway. It's just love, man. You cannot put a hamper on love, guys.
It's hard. You can't. What do they say? You can't choose who you love. Or you can't pick.
Like you love me, and you never thought you would love me, and look at this, you love me.
I love everyone.
Yeah, not this morning. You don't. Not if we would have the camera on a half an hour ago.
Not right now. But yeah, that part of the story, I thought again, and you're right, and it was probably just a communal thing.
They're just a bunch of homies, and
it just made sense.
Yeah,
I guess I don't know, but. They definitely were two peas in a pod from that moment on.
Yeah, a great combo,
and
right?
Whenever you talk about people that have extremely addictive personalities,
yes,
it goes one of two ways. One person in that relationship is an addict, and the other one isn't. They try to fix him, they try to fix him, they try to fix him, and then eventually blows up. Or both are both addicts, and they just fuel the fire. And it just fuels the fire.
And then on top of that, they're both huge stars and unlimited bankroll, like. Dude,
but it was not all jelly beans and rainbows. No, we'll talk about that addiction next. Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave. 104.7 The Cave. Mike, the intern, Jay Stevens, back in the studio. Dark Side of the Stream discussing Catching Fire, the Anita Pallenberg story. So, yeah, this story definitely, obviously, being involved with the Rolling Stones and being married to Keith for so long.
And having kids.
And trying to create a family in that situation is a hard story in itself. But then on top of it, you then have to really look at a big part of this story, which is the addiction that they both had.
Yeah.
Very addicted to drugs.
And the story
she ended up catching Hep C from needle use. And possibly, they don't really know, but more than likely that's where you get Hep C
and then
from.
when you'd hear the kids talk about stories and the parties and stuff that they would see and be involved in. One thing I did find interesting was Keith Richards' son would refer to him as Keith.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. When he would refer to, he wouldn't say, "Dad was this, Dad was that." He would go, "Keith was this."
That's
Keith
his
was
relationship with his father.
Yeah, that was.
It's definitely.
That was a little bit
evident.
sad. I
feel.
feel.
You got like a guy's like Mick. He's got 20+ kids.
Right, and they're gone. They're gone probably
bonding relationships.
Gone probably 49 weeks a year, probably. You know.
And to me, as a father and a parent, I I can see both sides. Like, I can see that you have a position and you are who you are, and this is what you have to be to make the money and provide for your family. But at a certain point, like, what's enough?
No,
Like,
that's-
what becomes more important? Is it the money or is it the bond? And
I think you could balance it a little better than guys
assume,
do.
yeah. At that point, you're making that kind of money.
Especially if you're in the Rolling Stones, you have a lot of say.
By the late 80s or the late 70s, early 80s, you have complete control over your future.
And I feel there is.
You made it.
I feel there's some bands that have probably done a better job at managing the parent life.
I think it just comes down to the individual.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, you
what do
know,
you find important?
I mean, I could have gone out and partied all weekend long, but I want to be with my kids. Like,
Yeah.
I want to do those things,
Like,
and I want them to.
I'm gone on
to
weekends
have,
a lot, but I try to make sure that I'm
but you
still
take time,
super
but
active
you
in
are
my kids' life.
active.
Yeah.
We're both active.
Yeah, active
but
parents,
you take
yeah.
the time with Hendrix
Yeah.
to say, this is our time, this is what we're
Yeah.
doing. We have a relationship.
Yeah.
We have our shows that we watch. We have the things that we do together. That is going to stay with
I
her
felt a
forever.
little sad for, like, it would be a bummer to be an old, famous rocker and then be like, my kids refer to me as Keith Richards.
But that's
not
what you
Dad.
get.
Yeah.
That's what you
Yeah,
got.
yeah.
And if you realize that at 75, you have time to fix it and try and build a
Yeah.
new relationship. You can't do anything about what happened, but you can try to fix it.
Is he, or is he still just out there just...
I mean, he seems like he's always just going to be himself.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think that's. It's not my call to say, like, was he a good or bad parent? That's
Yeah.
not my call.
Yeah.
My call is the relationship I have with my kids and how important that is to me, so that when they live the rest of their life, they have that and they understand what is a meaningful connection with their father.
And, so what I was getting at was props to the mom for, even though she had drug problems, for holding down the fort.
She did a really good. I mean,
Yeah.
in that, dude, that's a part of this documentary too that I will agree with you 100% on, is how she was able to do that while basically going toe to toe with Keith and Hughes.
Right.
And like
And
then
holding
like,
down the
I
fort
mean,
with the
yeah.
kids.
But now, granted, we say all this, and it's not like she was going to work 9 to 5 and then getting kids out
Oh,
to
yeah,
school.
she's probably living
she
that
had
life.
nannies and had help.
Yeah.
But again, you have to tend the garden, and she, for their situation,
She did. She pulled it off.
did okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did all right.
Yeah.
I mean, their kids are in a documentary talking about it.
Yeah.
When we come next, we'll talk about our review of this, Catching Fire, next on 104.7 The Cave. Mike, the intern, Jay Stevens, back in the studio one more time. It's Dark Side of the Stream, episode 299. We did Catching Fire, the Anita Pallenberg story, which ultimately, I think the lesson here is watch the drinking, because these two individuals, granted, had severe addiction problems with drugs, heroin, whatever you want to pick.
Everything, right?
Everything.
Yeah.
But it all started with drinking. Even
Yep.
after she had got clean in 1987, after she had a second hip surgery, started drinking again in 04.
Yeah.
So that monkey, as an addict, will always
Yeah.
be there, my friend.
And also, she... First of all, I didn't know anything about her, so I love the documentary. That's something I know nothing about. Who knew? I didn't know that Keith Richards had this wife for all these years, and it raised these kids, and that she lived a good, happy life and died fairly recently. Like, she didn't burn out OD.
Well,
she almost did, right? But she did not. I mean, one boyfriend killed himself and shot himself in the head or whatever, accidentally at her place. Like, she went through a lot and ended up living a good life, you know.
She figured it out,
Yeah,
kind
she
of. But
figured
I
it out.
mean,
Yeah, she kind of figured it
did
out.
the best she could. I think she said.
I think if you're dating a Rolling Stone, it's a wild ride.
Well, yeah.
know?
When she turned 70, she said, "I never thought I'd be able to live past 40."
Yeah.
So
We
you
all.
know,
I didn't think I'd live this long either, man. But here we are, doing this.
I don't know.
Good documentary.
I'd say give it a solid 4.
Yeah, solid 4. It was great. It was a great story.
Solid
and,
4 rock and roll girlfriends.
Yeah,
man.
it was a great tale, man. A good insight to that life, man. You know?
And yeah, and also again, a word of warning: watch the use. So, what do we watch next?
A great documentary that I just watched yesterday, was it? And it's a documentary directed by Guy Ritchie, so it almost plays out like an action movie.
Oh, like a heist kind
The
of
Diamond
deal?
Heist, exactly.
Okay,
The
cool.
Diamond Heist.
Awesome.
The Diamond Heist. Great documentary,
I
man.
love that guy. He's a great director.
Yeah, and this documentary is really well made. It really keeps you on the edge of your seat, man.
He's married to Madonna for a while.
He was married to Madonna for a while.
Hold that story down. She'd wear
Can you
you out,
imagine
buddy.
that ride, too? See, Tyler? Maybe Tyler needs to run off and marry a rocker chick.
Not when he's wearing gray sweatpants and a gray T-shirt.
Yeah,
to
he
match.
probably doesn't stand much chance.
This guy's not going on any dates looking like that.
I don't think he wants to go on a date today.
He's not. He does what he wants to do, and that's why we love Tyler. It's because Tyler is Tyler.
Well,
And Tyler will
everybody's
always
going to start
be
wondering who this Tyler guy is.
Tyler.
Girls are going to start calling the station. They used to call for me. Now they're going to start
Well,
calling
that's
for
what
who's
we're
Tyler.
slowly trying to do.
Pass the
We're
torch?
getting too old for this. and
Yeah, I
now
am
it's gonna
getting
be
too old for
Tyler-
girls.
It's going to be Tyler's deal going forward. But we're getting him there. As always, watch us do this live on Facebook or YouTube, 9 a.m. And then I play it on my show at the same time. Jay does it at 6. We do it as a podcast for free on 104.7 The Cave app. I'm Mike the Intern. That's Jay Stevens reminding you. We watch movies. So you don't have to. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.
We don't charge you $8 for our video.
Dude. That's fine. It felt good.
Yeah, I don't think the mic
If you
can
turn
hear
the
it.
game down, it should be fine. Hey, you should come out on the video and just wave.
It'll just sound
Towards the
awesome.
end. Just come
Yeah.
out and wave real quick.
Yeah, you
Just
should
come
show
out.
yourself.
Yeah, just come out.
In your sweatsuit attire, too.
Go hard.